What's up? What's up? How are we doing today, noob?
How you doing, man? I'm doing good, man. I am excited. I'm very excited for this episode. Very excited.
So much
What about
to talk
you, man?
about.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. You know, I got a little coffee here, baseball reference pulled up, and we'll just, got lots to talk about today.
Big fan of coffee.
I know you're a big coffee guy.
Big baseball reference guy. Big baseball reference guy.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Everybody, welcome backwards. This is episode backwards. Welcome backwards. Welcome back.
Welcome backwards.
This is episode 4 of the At the Dish podcast with Noob and Tango. As always, you can find us on everywhere you find your favorite podcast: YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and Amazon.
Spotify me, bro.
Spotify you.
Love Spotify. Big Spotify guy.
Are you? Did you get your Spotify wrap up thing today?
I did, and I'm upset that our podcast was not my number one podcast.
Well, I mean, we did just start it like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So
we'll give
it until the end of next year, and then we'll see where we're at.
I'm excited about that. I'm here for it.
I'm more of an Apple guy. I'm all in the Apple. So, but all my music,
they're healthy.
My music is probably just kids' music that I play for my kids to keep them quiet.
Kids pop number 5.
Yeah, I don't listen to a lot of my own music anymore. Dad life.
That's understandable, man. Dad right there. At least you're not making them listen to Metallica.
Not yet.
Well, they might like.
I mean, I'm not really a Metallica fan per se, but they'll get into some of Dad's music as they get older.
I was about to ask you what you're most excited for today about this episode.
What I am most excited for? Well, I mean, Twitter has me going crazy with rumors of Shohei Ohtani and the Blue Jays. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this every single episode that we've had, but until he signs somewhere, I'm going to keep talking about it.
Oh, yeah, as you should.
I mean, the news I saw today was that, or I don't know who it was, some guy was saying it looks like the Rangers might be out and could potentially be down to the Dodgers, Angels, Cubs, and the Blue Jays. But I mean, who knows?
Wild.
Who really knows? Who really knows? It is wild.
Yeah, I'm very surprised at that. I'm very surprised. I'm also surprised about what the Rays are doing right now.
What are the Rays even doing? They have like all these really good players, and they're just apparently everybody is available.
They made the playoffs last year, and now they're gonna look in a trade glass now. I mean, that's been the case for years, I feel like. But now, today, someone has tweeted out that they're looking to get rid of Randy Arozarena. And I'm just like, why? What's the point? What is the game plan if we're doing that? He has years of control left, doesn't he? I feel like at least a couple. I think he has
like three left, maybe. Let's look real quick.
Something like that. Yeah, I'm looking at.
Yeah, he's in this would be his second year of arbitration, so he's not a free agent until after the 2026 season. So 3 more years, and he's not going to be like super expensive.
No, he's already a little bit older, so he's not. If you wanted to extend him, you could probably do it pretty. Like, it wouldn't be a huge deal, I feel like, but the Rays are not exactly known for giving out huge deals.
No. Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking. I mean, the Jays could use a left fielder. I don't know if we could swing getting
Braves could use a left fielder too.
Yeah, I don't. It's interesting, crazy, but you know what? I never really, as crazy as all these things sound, I don't really doubt the Rays. They've just been a solid team for the last 10 to 12 years. So, nobody.
I agree. They always do something.
I didn't know much about Arozarena before that 2020 postseason run he went on.
That was a ridiculous run. I just saw a picture of him in a Cardinals uniform, and I was like, when the hell was he on the Cardinals?
Exactly. The Cardinals love to just trade guys away and never really replace them.
Yeah, speaking of the Cardinals, hot stove season, Sonny Gray, 3 years, $75 million.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't either. I was expecting Sonny Gray to be a Brave.
Super backloaded.
I saw that, like 10 mil for 24.
Yeah, he's like 10 mil, then 25, then 35, I think. So
that's interesting.
Cardinals maybe
they must have something in the works for this year, the rest of this year, I guess.
Maybe they do a Glasnow trade. Maybe they push hard for Yamamoto. I mean, it seems like they're overhauling their whole rotation. So
I agree. Oh, who are the other two starters in that rotation? Oh, we know we got Kyle Gibson, Lance Lynn, and now Sonny Gray. I guess it's Miles Michaelis and maybe Steven Matz, or is he even in the picture anymore?
Yeah, I think Matz. I think that's who would be the fifth starter right now.
Okay, that makes sense. What do we think of that rotation as a whole now? Scary rotation or
no?
I'm not particularly scared of it. I mean, Sonny Gray is great, but I'm not like shaking by hearing Miles Michaelis' name. And Lance Lynn had a rough year. Kyle Gibson's just an inning eater. He's nothing.
Tough to get excited when you're. I think their average age in the rotation is 35. And if you know one or two of those guys isn't like Verlander or Scherzer, it's kind of tough to get really excited about. Sonny Gray was great.
I've seen
last year, but
I didn't. Before this year and last year, I didn't realize how old he was. He doesn't look very old. He's kind of got a baby face, but that doesn't mean anything.
Well, he's been around for a long time, since 2013.
Oakland athletic legend. Good for the Cardinals for doing something though. I mean, there's at least a plan is a plan, so they're doing something.
Yeah, I mean, they had to do something after last year. That was like the most disappointing season a team has had in a while. Well, there were a lot of disappointing seasons last year. The Padres, the Mets. I mean, the White Sox over the last 4 years. The Yankees.
Man, I was scared that the White Sox were going to be one of the AL teams to beat for years.
I picked them to make the World Series in 2021. I was like, yeah.
I think I might have been on the same page.
Luis Robert was my MVP pick that year, and I was way off.
Who I forget. Oh, that's Shohei. Yeah, Shohei year 2021.
Shohei versus
He's going to be my pick for every single year. Yeah, that was a good race. Fun for you to watch.
It was fun. I can't wait for Vlad to have another 40 home run season.
It's coming, dude. It's coming. He's going to have at least 5 before his career's over, I think.
I think so, too. It looks like he's doing a lot of work this offseason. This year they sent him down, or I don't know if they sent him down or he chose to stay in Florida. So he's in Florida all winter working out, and whatever it's I forget what her name is. She's like a trainer or whatever. And I was on her Instagram page the other day, and I think Rosarena was down there, Adolis, Jordan, a bunch of other guys all working out down in that gym and stuff. I don't know if they're all there together or what, but when you got guys like that,
I want to work out. I want to work out with Adolis, man. He's jacked.
Oh, that dude's insane. That's why he blasts balls to Mars.
Man. Yeah, balls that shouldn't even go out.
Man, that walk-off home run he hit in game one of the World Series, I have no idea how he hit that opposite field. Like, it looked like it was coming right in at him, like hands at his waist.
He got jammed.
Yeah, and then he just shoves it out 370 feet.
That's crazy, dude.
Yes, there's a reason why I am not in the major leagues.
Same here, man.
Oh.
All right, but dude, it's Hall of Fame ballot season.
Hall of Fame ballot season, everybody's favorite time of the year to shit on Major League Baseball and their writers.
Yeah, just to make baseball look horrible. God, the people sending in blank ballots, I don't get it, man. Like, how do you become a voter in the first place?
I don't know. I think you just have to be covering baseball for a really long time. It's a lot of,
all right, well,
kind of an old boys club, isn't it? All the writers and the people who vote.
Probably. I think you're right. I'm pretty sure you're right, at least.
So what are your thoughts on that? When it comes to the voting and seeing either empty ballots or people who are voting for one or two, do you think there should be a minimum that you should have to vote for? Or
I don't think I'd hate that. I think it's tough, man, because what if we have a period of time where there's not any standout stars or something? I mean, each era is going to have its own stars, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. I wouldn't mind a minimum. If I were to say a minimum amount, I think it'd have to be somewhere between 3 and 5. 3 and 5 minimum votes.
Yeah, I don't think you can go too crazy. Three, I think seems like a good number. Like, I mean, I guess if you really want to not vote for anybody, you could just vote for three of the least likely people to get any votes. But
that makes sense. I agree. But yeah, so I guess that would be kind of tricky too. Like, how do you work around that?
Yeah, the whole system
Like,
is kind of weird.
That is kind of like a hacked
Or maybe
way to do
even
it.
like, yeah, I don't know, blank. Were there blank ballots last year? Has that been a thing? Completely
Yeah,
blank.
I saw someone on Twitter sending a blank ballot in. It's nuts, man. It's nuts. I don't understand. And like with a ballot that I'm looking at right now, there are some just absolute slam dunk Hall of Famers in here. So it's crazy to me that someone would send in a blank ballot when you got guys on here the way we do.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's just maybe like too subjective. I don't know, but you can't make it really objective. I guess you can't have like, oh, you hit this. I don't know if they eventually come up with some sort of formula, the Hall of Fame formula. If you hit this in your career, then you're in. But you'd have to, I don't know, adjust it as time went on because the game changes. But
absolutely, I think we're getting into a period where we're starting to look more at a player's peak rather than just counting stats. And I like that. And I like that a lot, actually. I think it's important.
Yeah, I mean, if you have like a good 5 to 10 year stretch, it's gotta count for something. Like 5 to 10 years where you're at the absolute top of the league. There's one guy on here who spent his whole career, a lot of time at least, for your Atlanta Braves. Who,
yes, sir. Not quite his whole career, but
not quite
the important years.
All the good years, yeah.
All the good years.
But he comes up every year, so we'll just get into it. So Andrew Jones, I want to know what you think about Andrew Jones, and if he would be in. If you're voting for 10 guys, he's
absolutely on the list. Absolutely on the list, dude. Just a no-brainer to me. If you were to tell me like one of the greatest center fielders of all time also hit over 400 home runs, like you'd be like, oh, well, he's got to be a shoo-in, right?
Yeah.
According to some statistics out there, from what I've heard, don't quote me on this, and I forgot what actual metrics they've used, but he's, depending on those statistics, he's a better center fielder defensively than Willie Mays was. And he's regarded as the best. So, I mean, it's a shoo-in for me. He was also a runner-up MVP, 10 straight Gold Gloves, came up when he was super young, and just, I mean, career OPS plus 111, OPS career is 823. He has 434 home runs, 1,289 RBIs. I mean, it's a 62.7 WAR and 10 straight Gold Gloves. I think it's a pretty no-brainer for a lot of people.
Yeah, it does seem like kind of crazy that he hasn't been voted in yet, because this will be his 7th year.
If he just stayed healthy, and I think he got a little bit overweight after his time in Atlanta too. Like, basically he accrued 60 WAR by the time he was 30. And he went to the Dodgers when he was 31 and just, he fell off a cliff. He was basically rendered to a DH role after his season in LA, just spent time with the Yankees, Rangers, and White Sox. And I mean, he still hit for some pop, but he just wasn't the same type of player that we saw in Atlanta.
Just look how many games he played too, from 97 to 2007. The least amount of games he played in was 153.
It's crazy. And that was his first full year too.
For 11 straight seasons. That is a lot of baseball. Man. Like, I mean, it's not Cal Ripken, but it's pretty damn close.
A lot of baseball, man. And he has a couple seasons where he hit 41 home runs, 51 home runs.
Yeah, 50 burger. Vote him in. Vote him in, people. Vote him in.
Gotta be in. He's got to be in. Anyway, is there anyone else who stands out here? I see a young man, well, not so young anymore, that spent a lot of time with your Jays. And I don't know what your stance on him for the Hall of Fame is, but Mr. Jose Bautista.
Oh, Jose Bautista. Unfortunately, Oh God, I love Jose Bautista. He probably will go down. Well, I mean, we'll see where the young kids we have now, where they end up in the, the lore of the Blue Jays. But
Yes.
Jose Bautista, as of right now, is probably my favorite Blue Jay of all time. But do I think he is a Hall of Famer? I don't. I think, he was probably the best hitter in the league for like that 2010, like for the maybe 3 or 4 years there, and then like really solid for another 3-4 years. But I don't think it's enough.
Very good stretch.
I don't think it's enough. And I think it's almost the opposite of Andrew Jones, where like the first, from 2004 to 2009, that 5 or 6 years, he kind of bounced around. He didn't really do much at all. And then, he was insane for the next two. But
he played for 4 teams in 2004. 4 teams. Baltimore, Tampa, Kansas City, and Pittsburgh.
Hit a whopping 0 home runs.
Oh, that's not a great rookie year.
No. And then I don't know. He found a different hitting coach in Toronto in 2010 and tried to get on top of fastballs, nuts. And he went off for the next 2 years. The craziest thing is, he hit 9 less home runs in 2011, but his season was better. A 1056 OPS plus of 182 that year. So actually, just a better year.
That is wild, man. That's a 302 average. Just any time you got a guy hitting over 1,000 for OPS in a season, that's just a ridiculous year. There's maybe you get lucky, you get like 4 or 5 of them throughout the MLB that do that in a single year.
Yeah. So, as much as I love the guy, as big of as integral as he was for our team for 10 years almost, unfortunately, no, he just didn't quite have the full career resume to me to make the cut. If you're basing it off 5-year stretches, then maybe, but arguably one of the better 3 to 5 year stretches. But
I agree. He had a ridiculous 6 years in Toronto from ages 29 to 34. Just a ridiculous amount of years. He walked a lot too.
Oh yeah,
it was great.
He was on base a ton.
Finishing his career with 1,000 walks.
On base a ton.
And he didn't strike out as much as I thought he would have.
a lot of contact.
Like a lot of contact right there. All right, since we got a couple of our favorites out of the way, we could just go through this alphabetically if you'd like.
Sure.
For the rest of it. What do we think about Bobby Abreu?
Bobby Abreu, I don't have him in my 10. Solid player.
Neither do I.
Career 870 OPS, like can't go wrong, but 60 career WAR, but I don't know. I don't just not quite.
He wasn't
there.
Exactly it's insane if you read off his counting stats, like 2,470 hits, 288 home runs, a 291 batting average, 400 steals on the nose, and 1,300 ribbies. Career OPS plus of 128. But he never really had a dominant stretch. He's got 1 Gold Glove. He never finished inside of the top 10 of MVP voting, 1 Silver Slugger, and only 2 All-Stars. He just had a very, very long career where he was steadily productive. Which, I mean, it adds up, and there's something to say about that. But, sometimes I forget that Bobby Abreu was an actual person playing baseball.
That's the thing, I think.
I feel like you can't. Yeah, he doesn't really stand out in anything if you go on it like that. And I love Bobby Abreu, and I'm not trying to offend Bobby Abreu fans out there, but when I think of 2000s and late 90s, I don't think of Bobby Abreu, and I feel like if you're a Hall of Famer, that kind of stands out. Your name should stand out a little bit more.
You can't be
great player though.
You can't be forgettable.
No, you can't be forgettable. I hate to use that word for Bobby Abreu because he shouldn't be forgettable. You should celebrate players of his type of magnitude. Those are very, very good numbers. Was a very good player. And I know I'd be saying something different if he played for my Braves. I'd be clamoring for him to be in the Hall of Fame. But realistically, he just wasn't really dominant at anything, you know? It's so hard to explain. I don't think I'm doing it justice.
Like a solid player, but was there ever a stretch where he was the best player in the league for a year? No, right? Like,
I don't think so. He had like a couple 30-30 seasons, which are great, like a many 20-20 years. I don't know.
Your 12th was the highest he ever finished in MVP voting. So I don't know. That's like, there's 11 guys arguably that season that were better than you.
Yeah, that's tough, man. That's
You're not even
really tough.
in the top 10 players in the league in a year.
Yeah. Just
I don't know how you could make the Hall of Fame against some of these other guys.
And I think that speaks to the ballot as well. Because if there was not as many guys I would vote for on this ballot, I would vote for Bobby Abreu. Looking at these stats, I would. But this is just a loaded ballot, in my opinion.
Yeah. So the next one up, Carlos Beltran. You got him in your 10?
I do have him in my 10.
I do as well.
Absolutely.
Maybe this will be more exciting for you people listening if we disagree on someone, but for now we're on the same page.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be bad news about us disagreeing on something. I bet we have like the same 10.
It'll be close, I think.
Dude has a lot of all-star appearances, a lot of silver sluggers, a decent amount of gold gloves.
Rookie of the
year, top 4 MVP vote getter 2006. Just a really good career slash line, 279, 350, 486, a career OPS of 837. Got over 400 career home runs, 435, over 300 stolen bases, 1,587 RBI. That's a career 70 WAR.
One of the most insane postseason runs in 2004.
I do remember that.
The dude hit 8 home runs in 12 games.
That's insane. That's ridiculous.
A 1,500 over 1,500 OPS, like a 1,550 OPS.
That's absolutely insane.
But they lost to the Cardinals in the NLCS that year in 7 games. But he had 20 hits, 8 home runs in 12 games. Like, that is crazy.
That is ridiculous. Like, one of the best switch hitters out there. That's another thing. Very good switch hitter. And I know a lot of people are probably gonna leave him off the ballot because of that 1 year in Houston that we all know. His final year in Houston. Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe the part that hurts the most too is just that apparently he was a big part of that.
That's what I heard too.
It's an unfortunate thing to kind of have people kind of be hung up on at the end of your career. But
his only year with Houston too, like you can mark that year completely off of his record.
Well, and he had that his half year in 2004 when.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
430 home runs, career 837 OPS. I'm putting him in there. Switch hitter.
I'm putting him in there too, regardless. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm taking his time before that 2017 season. He's still a Hall of Famer in my book. I'm over that year.
Me too.
Adrian Beltre up next.
Adrian Beltre.
Where you got him?
Absolutely. I think he should get in first ballot.
He should be in first ballot, in my opinion. I didn't realize how much WAR he had. 93.5.
He might be the best.
Reference.
Well, I wouldn't say the best. Maybe second best hitter in this whole list, in my opinion.
He might be. Actually, I put him fourth, maybe. But anyway, that regardless, ridiculous. 477 career home runs, 93.5 WAR, over 3,000 hits, 5-time Gold Glover, 2-time Platinum Gold Glove winner, 4 Silver Slugger, and I should probably stop using All-Star as an accolade, but he went there 4 times and led the league in home runs 1 year, second MVP. That year, top 3 MVP vote getter for 2 seasons, and just he did very well. He just had a very good career.
Yeah, 600 doubles, 477 homers.
A lot of numbers, man. That's a lot of numbers. Like, how can you leave him out?
I mean, he's got the most hits out of anybody on this list.
That's surprising to me with a couple of the dudes that are on here.
So yeah, Adrian Beltre, I think is a first balloter. I think he'll get in. If he doesn't get in this year, hopefully, at least next year, or the year after. But
agreed.
I think he's going to get a lot of votes this year, as he should.
Me too. Next one up. What do you think about Mr. Burley?
Mark Burley doesn't make the Hall of Fame for me.
Neither he doesn't make it for me either.
Again, like another guy, obviously like really solid career.
Very good career.
Even 4 Gold Gloves he had. Actually, the one thing that I'm really sad about with Mark Burley, and it came with the Blue Jays, and we tried so hard to get him to do this, but his last year was 2015 with the Jays, and it was like his last start of the year, and we're like, we are going to try and push him to get as many innings as he can so he can get 200 innings, because he had at least 200 innings in every other full season he played. If you look at his page,
that's so wild. Yeah.
Insanely consistent. He finished with 198 and 2/3 innings. So he needed four more outs, but he got lit up at his last start of the year. Even through 4 complete games in that year. That's crazy. 200 wins, solid. 3.81, like a sub 4 ERA over a career. Pretty good, but
with that many innings, that's pretty solid. Just a workhorse.
He's just a workhorse, and that's where I think he ends up being for me. Solid workhorse, great career.
All very good, but unfortunately for me,
Hall of Fame worthy. I don't know. The pitchers are really tough one for me.
Less than 2,000 strikeouts, which is unfortunate, but I mean, strikeouts aren't the end all be all or anything like that. He's still very good. Like I would love it for more guys like this to be appreciated, just to get innings. There's something so valuable about that we don't see nowadays. Like, think of how dominant a bullpen could be in nowadays if you get a guy like that who, or you get 2 guys like that in your rotation, just going out there and giving 7 innings every single start, no matter what. Like that could really be valuable to the bullpen as well, and that's something that doesn't really get appreciated numbers wise.
And never finish, he only finished in Cy Young voting 5th once, and that was it. So again, solid. He's kind of like Bobby Abreu, like solid pitcher, solid player had a long career, but
such a good call. That's the best analogy I could have ever heard.
Mark
is
Burley,
the Bobby Abreu of pitchers on this ballot, basically.
Abreu of pitchers on the Hall of Fame ballot.
2 guys I would love on my team. Just to set the record straight, I would love them on my team. If it was a different ballot, I'd probably vote for them. But
he would be in the Chicago White Sox Hall of Fame, but not the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yep, 100%. 100%.
Oh, right. Big Sexy.
Next, I want to put him in there just for his home run against San Diego alone. His home run off of someone else on this list, might I add. But he is not going to be in the Hall of Fame for me.
No, Bartolo Colon is not going to be in the Hall of Fame. Every team legend almost. How many different teams did he play for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
He played until he was 45.
Did win a Cy Young. As good of some seasons he had some not so good seasons too.
He had some bad years, man. Some very, very rough seasons. Like a couple, and dude, the 2 seasons he had after his Cy Young season were rough. Yeah. Very, very rough. And I played with injuries for sure, but having ERAs over 5 and then again over 6 is a rough time. And then he actually had some good seasons in New York when he was 40. A one ridiculous season in Oakland when he was exactly 40 years old. Arguably a better year than he had in his Cy Young year. But Hall of very good and very fun to watch. Extremely fun player to watch.
Hall of Fame as far as like entertaining and just another guy you want on your team just for the vibes.
Good vibes. He's doing some crazy stuff in Dubai right now, I think.
Is he? Ultimate Vibes Hall of Fame.
Yeah. He's pitching in that Dubai league, I think.
What is that Dubai league? I had never heard of it until
I'm not sure, but I know Pablo Sandoval's over there. I know. Yeah, Robbie Cano's over there. Apparently, Pablo Sandoval hit the first ever 6-run home run. crazy stuff, man.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yes, I completely agree. It is absolutely ridiculous. Adrian Gonzalez is up next, and I don't have him on my list.
I don't
Is
have
he
him
on your
my
list?
lists. No.
Nah.
No, just I don't know. I mean, a lot of these guys, I think all the guys that, obviously all these players are good players. So the people who, might not make our top 10s, I'm sure there are people who are going to make cases for them to, get votes maybe here and there. But no, Adrian Gonzalez, again, really solid for, a good stretch there in the late 2000s.
Yep. I think he fell off rather quickly. Actually, maybe not. He had a very steady career.
Well, he was like solid until 2015 and then kind of just dropped off. Like pretty young too, like 34 for a guy like that who, I would almost say like could have, you look at a guy like David Ortiz, there's guys that just kind of DH for the last like 6 or 7 years till their late 30s. But his career just kind of disappeared. He was solid, and then just see ya.
I know, just out so quickly. I feel like you said, was getting MVP votes in 2014, basically out of the league at 2017. I mean, there's been players like that, of course, but I don't know. He just, I didn't expect that. I thought he was kind of on a good track for the Hall of Fame, but I think injuries kind of derailed him a little bit. I don't quote me on that, but also he didn't really have, he was a very good overall hitter. I would say he's like a Freddie Freeman light, like very, very light, maybe half the calories. Had a couple seasons where he had a little bit more pop, but Freddie Freeman's a guy who's more of a complete hitter. And it just didn't happen.
Just didn't happen. Yeah, he's not moving the needle for me. And if I vote, sorry, Adrian Gonzalez, but you're not getting my vote.
Nope.
The next guy gets my vote though. Todd Helton. I'm voting Todd Helton.
Gets my vote as well. 100%.
Just like
100%.
The biggest number that stands out to me is career 953 OPS. Like it's
an insane Hall of Fame career, man.
For
absolutely career average batting
like a 17-year career. Yeah,
there's a lot of bold on this baseball reference page, and just like you look at these batting averages, just going down the line: 315, 320, 372, 336, 329,
372.
And it's not like it's just a crazy, and it's not like it's a Luis Arias type where you bat 370 and the OPS is 900. No. The OPS is in a row starting from 2000. 1162, 1116, 1006, 1088, 1088. It's just a ridiculous stretch of hitting. Ridiculous.
Yeah, that 7-year stretch from 99 to 2005 it's insane. Like
it's absolutely what gets him in.
5 straight years of 1,000 plus OPS. Bookended by 980 and 979. And then, MVP votes 5 years in a row, Silver Slugger or Gold Glove every one of those years. That stretch alone, I think, is like that stretch is so good. Coors Effect or not, like 372, that's crazy.
And at that point, it's not like you get to choose who you play for. At that early in your career, you can't choose to go to Coors when you're getting arbitration. You can't. And like even he fell off even after he was 30, power wise at least, and even so, he just still did so well in that 6-year stretch that it's just I feel like it should be more of a no-brainer than it's going to be for a lot of voters.
Yeah, I think they just look at it like if you look at the last 7 or 8 years, it's kind of very underwhelming.
Yes, agreed. It's almost like, I don't know, if he stopped playing at 30, if he just went out on top, would he get more votes than he would have gotten if he granted the rest of his career?
That's tough to say. But I mean, he got 72, a little over 72% of the votes last year.
Ooh, I didn't see that.
I think that's good. Last year. So I think like he's close. He's close.
He is very close. I hope he gets in. Really hope he gets in. All right, Matt Holliday, his teammate, former teammates, Matt Holliday. Is he in for you?
I do not have Matt Holliday.
I do not have him in. He's not on my list either.
But you know what? I was actually surprised when I was looking at this today. I was like, Matt Holliday had a better career than I thought. Like I knew he was solid for a few years and stuff, but I didn't realize like sort of like career wise, you know, even at age 38, I mean, only played 25 games, but let's look at age 36, 110 games, like 100 plus OPS basically every single season. So, you know,
and
league average or better.
Very solid. He had to play the field too. He had to play the field too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
like, very good career.
Second in MVP in 07. Very good career, but
a couple All-Stars, Silver Sluggers, Silver Slugger in St. Louis as well as Coors. So that's a good thing for his case. But he was also a batting champ. Couple very good OPS seasons. A career OPS of almost 900, 889. Very good slash line.
You know, what's funny is I look at this, and if you look at his full career-wise, I feel like there's going to be people that will make more of a case for him than Todd Helton because he just sustained it over his career.
Oh my God!
I mean, I don't agree with that. I'm just saying there might be people that's you know, that's the argument they make for a guy like Matt Holliday. That
you're right. I think you're right.
He was, you know, league average or above for a longer period of time.
I can understand that. Not saying it's right or wrong, but it's that's tough. Like, who would get my vote if you had to vote one or the other? Would it be Helton or Holiday? And
I think we both just said it was going to be Helton.
I think it would be Helton for me. It would definitely be Helton for me.
But if you're looking at there, it's just too good.
It is too good. I think I think when I was younger, I was more of like a counting stats guy, like something a lot more respectable about, you know, achieving 1,500 RBIs against 1,200. But now the older I get, I want to see that dominance over just like a short span of time rather than counting stats over 20 years. Give me the guy who just went ham for 6 or 7 years.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Another
Torrey Hunter,
Torrey Hunter.
He is not on my list.
He's not on my list either.
Such a good player, though.
So good. I didn't realize he won 9 straight Gold Gloves. Like I knew he was solid.
Yeah, he's 9. And basically Andrew Jones light.
Andrew Jones light. Which is why we pick Andrew Jones over Torrey Hunter to make the Hall of Fame. I think it's a case of that. If you compare the two, you know, again, maybe he had a couple more years that were decent at the end of his career, but I think if you look at his best 10-year stretch and compare that to Andrew Jones.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's he never hit above 30 home runs except for 1 year. But he did it. He aged so gracefully. Like he was an all-star when he was 37 years old in Detroit, OPS of 800 that year. Wild. Imagine Andrew Jones finishing as gracefully as Torrey Hunter, and you're looking at one of the best of all times, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But Torrey Hunter, still a great player. I loved watching him rob home runs. He looked so good out there in center field. Very, very good player.
Yeah, very good. Super fun to watch, especially defensively. It's gonna, you know, he's not gonna hurt your lineup at all, but
nope. I'm surprised that he only has 50.7 WAR. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that he only has 50.7 WAR, because you pair 9 straight Gold Gloves with 353 career home runs and almost 1,400 RBI. I mean, it's like I'm almost trying to talk myself into voting for Torrey Hunter, but there's some more guys on this list that I think are better off in the Hall.
Yeah, We talked about Andrew Jones already.
Yep.
Victor Martinez. MLB The Show legend.
I love Victor Martinez. I didn't even play when he was a card.
Oh, he had a sick card in like MLB 18, maybe it was.
Oh man, I wish I played back then. Actually, no, I don't because of Immortals. But
that's its whole whole podcast on itself.
Yeah, pretty much, man. I love Victor Martinez, but he doesn't get my vote.
We're gonna have the exact same ballot. Victor Martinez, you are not.
I know.
You are not a Hall of Famer.
Not a Hall of Famer. Some
not this
good
year.
Years.
Not this year.
Yeah. As far as catchers go, like, I wonder where he kind of stands as far as like among the great catchers. Like, I mean, doesn't stand very well, but I don't know. I really like the type of player he was. He had some really good years. Second in MVP one year.
Yeah, I didn't realize he ever finished that high in MVP voting. I would not have guessed it.
I feel like if he was actually, never mind. I was reading something wrong. I thought he got hurt a lot, but he played a lot, like full seasons. Maybe if he got a bit of an earlier start, even though that's probably not the case either, since he was an all-star when he was 25. That's a pretty young start for a catcher. I feel like catchers always come up a little bit later in their in age.
Yeah, it's rare you see like a 19-year-old catcher. Like even Adley's 25, I think, right now.
I know. I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Yeah, he's older than Bo Bichette, I'm pretty sure. But you wouldn't think so.
Wild.
Because Bichette's been in the league for 5 years. Same with Vladdy, obviously, being younger than him. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Victor Martinez, you're a really good baseball player.
But you're not on our list.
You're not on our list.
Next,
speaking of catchers,
I feel like this is
another catcher.
This might be the guy. This could possibly be the man we disagree on.
Ooh.
If we disagree on anyone.
Well,
but I have him on my list.
I also have him on my list.
All right, our ballot's going to be the exact same.
If you win 2 MVPs, or not 2. I thought he won 2 for some reason. You won the MVP. Let me just gather my thoughts here.
3-time batting champion.
3-time batting champion. Look at all of that bold font on his baseball reference page.
A lot of bold.
The dude just
very
mashed.
Bold. He was a hitting machine. He didn't hit for power, which I think is why a lot of people aren't going to vote for him.
Well, he didn't hit a lot of home runs. Like he has 428 doubles. Like that is
a lot of doubles.
Didn't hit a lot of home runs. But
I'm honestly surprised that he didn't reach the 1,000 RBI plateau.
Like his slugging was almost 440 for his career. That's pretty solid.
Pretty decent, yeah.
For
career OPS,
you look
827
at
for
a guy like Buster Posey. Like Buster Posey hit for no power, and he's for sure going to be in the Hall of Fame. I would say.
I don't understand how he can for sure be in the Hall of Fame when people are like, Joe Mauer, should he be in the Hall of Fame or not? But then Buster Posey never hit 365. Buster Posey never had a career year he never had a year with 1,000 OPS.
No.
Maybe I'm wrong, but off the top of my head, it doesn't.
He did not. 957 the year he won MVP.
Okay, good thing I didn't say what I was going to say.
When he was 25. There's a solid 25-year-old catcher.
Absolutely. But
Joe Mauer led the league in hitting at 25 as well.
Yeah, and then he led it 2 other times. Two other times. He's absolutely in the Hall of Fame for me.
Joe Mauer. Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, dude. What about Andy Pettitte?
I do have Andy Pettitte on my list.
Ooh, I do not have Andy Pettitte on the list.
Hold on. I don't.
Oh my God.
I thought I did. But he was one that I really was debating. I had to apparently I can't read my own writing of these 10 names I have written down here.
I was struggling with him as well. Very much so. Is it 60? He's like he wasn't as big of a workhorse as Mark Burley as far as like innings per year. I mean, he was kind of close. He had a lot of seasons where he had over 200 innings pitched.
Mm-hmm.
He's had better strikeouts, over 250 wins, career ERA of 3.85. He didn't win the Cy Young, but he did have votes. He finished top 5 Cy Young in 4 separate seasons, which is really good.
I mean, he has
very
like
good and a very good career.
Double the amount of WAR as Burley.
Does he? I saw where Burley had like almost 60.
Oh no, never mind. I read they're almost the exact same. I'm dumb. Like,
oh,
don't listen to anything I say when I'm just reading different columns, comparing the wrong columns. I was like, I was looking at his best 7 years. So actually, if you look at that, Mark Burley had a better best 7 years than Andy Pettitte.
That's kind of wild. That's kind of wild.
Case closed with that there. If Mark Burley's not in, he had a better top 7 years than Andy Pettitte. Pettitte's definitely not
absolutely in. Get out.
Maybe it's the Yankee bias, I think, that like made me want to put him in. And I'm not a Yankees fan by any means, but he's, he was such a big part of that team for a long time.
He was
he's good. He was a good player. But
he had a fantastic year in Houston. Fantastic year in 2005 in Houston.
Not good enough to win the Cy Young. Do we even need to talk about the next guy? Is he going to be on your list?
He's definitely not on my list.
Brandon Phillips,
you're not. Braves legend.
You're not on the Hall of Fame. I'm almost surprised that he's on here.
I am too. He had a couple good years.
What the requirements are to even be on this list?
I think it's 10 years.
Is that
in the majors? Maybe service time 10 years.
And then
I want to say it's something like that.
Yeah, Brandon Phillips, solid, decent career. But again,
he was known for his bat, right? I guess he was Gold Glover ×4,
like 740
but
OPS. OPS plus,
OPS plus is 95.
Yeah,
I'm very surprised to read that. I figured it would be higher.
I think he just had a couple of good years, and so I'm not spending any more time. I'm sorry, Brandon Phillips. On to the next. This guy, 100%.
On to the next. I feel like we don't even need to talk about this dude for the opposite reason. Manny Ramirez, you are in the Hall of Fame in my book.
How 33.2%? That's it? How is this guy not in the Hall of Fame already? 555 home runs, 996 career OPS. Pfft.
That's ridiculous. Just like look at the MVPs. Like he never won MVP, but he was top 10 vote getter in 8 straight years.
I can't even count.
8 straight years.
It hurts my eyes to look at all those accolades from 1998 to 2008. All-Star every single year, Silver Slugger almost every one of those years.
I want to talk about like the 2 months he had in LA in 2008. Just a scorching 53 games where he had 17 home runs and 1232 OPS.
This dude's
221 OPS plus.
His slugging for that stretch was 743.
He had one of those stances. That's ridiculous. He had one of those batting stances where it just looked like the ball was going to go 500 feet every single time he was in the box. How do you
slug 700 for like an entire season? 2,000, 118 games, that's 697 slugging. Like 38 homers in only 118 games. Sheesh.
I don't understand.
I'm actually surprised.
I don't think I'll ever understand.
He never hit 50 bombs in a season.
I am too, actually. I'm a little bit.
Considering he hit 555 in his career, but that's just solid, like solid stretch.
Yeah.
Like
just
that's insane.
Insane. How many? He had 6 straight years, almost 8 straight years of having an OPS of over 1,000. 7 out of 8 from 99 to 06. Crazy. He's got my vote for sure.
Absolutely.
How many years does he have left on the ballot? He's
2.
This is gonna be his 8th This is going to be his 9th year on the ballot.
This will be his 8th.
No, this is his 8th year.
So, sorry,
okay,
2 more after this year.
Yeah, the way they have that is a little bit confusing.
Yeah,
but yeah.
How is he
Jose Reyes.
only 33%? Jose Reyes, you are not in the Hall of Fame.
Crazy.
I love you, Jose
not
Reyes.
In the Hall of Fame.
Jose Reyes was probably my favorite baseball player from like 2006 to 2015, maybe. I loved Jose Reyes. When the Blue Jays got Jose Reyes, I was so happy. And then he kind of just...
No bueno. Yeah. Yep. That's crazy. He had a couple really, really good years with the Mets, stole a lot of bases, over 500 career steals, but he's definitely not on my list. He kind of,
yeah, he was fast. His defense was all right. Like, he never won a Gold Glove. He's, a couple All-Stars.
Yeah. One batting title. Like, that's solid.
Oh, yeah. I forgot he won the batting title that one year. I think that came down to like the last game too, where like somebody else, whoever he was in the race with, I feel like they had a bad game and then they like pulled Jose Reyes so he wouldn't he had won it, and then it's like, all right, we don't want to risk you losing it if you have another at bat.
Oh my God, that's wild.
I'm pretty sure that's how that ended up. Yeah, a super fun player to watch during his prime. But Hall of Fame, not for me.
Nope. Not for me either, man.
All right.
Next guy is for sure.
He was number 1 on my list. I was like, he was the first name I wrote down. Oh, really? He was the first. Oh man,
I kind of went alphabetical order, and now I'm kind of upset that
I didn't necessarily have them in order 1 to 10. He was just the first person I wrote down because there's no way that Alex Rodriguez should not be in the Hall of Fame. It's like Barry Bonds.
Absolutely, man. 100%. He's like the righty version of Barry Bonds, pretty much.
This guy was the best hitter in the league for like 10 years straight, pretty much.
That's crazy, dude. A 3-time MVP. How many of those are there? Like, we got Barry Bonds and A-Rod, I think, Mike Trout, and some other guys can't think of. Babe Ruth, probably a 3-time MVP. I don't even know. But he led the league in home runs 5 times.
Dude, 11 straight years, 35 plus home runs.
That's just wild.
Capping out at 57 in 2002. He
didn't even play in 2014.
Didn't even play, and then still came back and hit 33 bombs at age 39.
That's wild. I almost wanted him to come back just to get 700.
Oh, could you imagine?
If he didn't.
Yeah, I wish he would have been able to get 700.
Yeah, that would have been nuts. Came up as a teen. Imagine having 1,000 OPS at age 20.
And playing with Ken Griffey Jr. Could you imagine the life?
And winning the batting title at age 20. That's crazy. He's absolutely a shoe-in.
It's crazy that he was 3rd on the team in home runs that year. Griffey had 49, Jay Buhner had 44, and then A-Rod had 36.
Crazy, man. How did they just not get to the playoffs as much?
I don't know. Didn't even make the playoffs that year.
That's wild. That's interesting.
Back when,
imagine A-Rod, Griffey, and Randy Johnson all on the same team. Were they all on the same team in '96?
Randy was there, but he only started 8 games. Was.
Interesting. And Edgar Martinez on that team. That's a ridiculously deep lineup. Griffey, A-Rod, Edgar Martinez, and Jay Buhner. Crazy lineup. Yeah, he's absolutely in the Hall of Fame. I don't understand how he wouldn't be.
Well, I guess this just brings up another thing to talk about is how do you feel with all the PED players in the Hall of Fame? Like, because that's clearly why he's not. Otherwise, he would have been in there on his first year, right? Because this is it's only his 3rd year, but still.
True. I forgot who I heard this from, but it really kind of put things in perspective. I think it was from Dallas Braden that it was like The Baseball Hall of Fame is a basically museum to talk about history, baseball history. And these guys are a big part of baseball history. And they should absolutely be in the Hall of Fame because that was just the time period. Everyone was doing PEDs. Like, yeah, they did PEDs and got a lot of had really good years, but they were getting them against other guys that were taking PEDs. Now, I don't know off the top of my head how many pitchers were taking PEDs or batters, but there's quite a bit of them. So yeah. I think they should still be in the Hall. And you still have to hit the ball, like hand-eye coordination. You can't you get me steroids, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit here and gain weight. That's all I'm going to do. And maybe put some muscle on, but you still have to make contact.
The biggest critics, I swear, as far as maybe not even, people outside of baseball altogether who you just hear that performance enhancing drugs, you hear steroids, and you're just like instantly those people who are just shame, whatever. None of those people, I don't think, understand how hard it is to hit even like an 85 mile an hour fastball, let alone 100 miles an hour, or somebody who can throw 95 plus and then drop like a 75 mile an hour curveball and a slider that breaks away from you 15 inches.
Yep. More so that drives me crazy. And also the people that are watching television, are watching the game on TV, and they're like, how can you swing at that? How can you swing at that? Now the only person I can understand people saying that about is Javier Baez. But anyone else, then I'm just like, you don't understand. You do not understand. The pitches look exactly the same out of the hand, and in the first 20 feet of the pitch, you cannot tell the difference.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you don't have any time to react to it. You're basically making the decision before the guy even lets go of the ball.
Pretty much. You have to be in your mind. You're like, I'm going to swing at every single pitch. And then you just don't.
Yeah.
Then you decide not to swing. I feel like is what a lot of people do.
I almost feel like with this whole PEDs talk, I bet there's probably enough stuff with sports science and all that nowadays that there's just almost just as good of things you can take that aren't illegal necessarily that can help you now, or as far as recovery and stuff, because I think that's more what it was about than anything is, they're not really trying to because you don't want to be super muscly to play baseball. You want to be strong for sure, but
you want to be lean too. It's all torque, man. It's all torque.
Yeah,
if you're big, stocky, and you can't move, then you're just not going to do well.
Sure, if you look at guys like Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire, clearly they look way more bulked up, but what percentage of the league was he using, and what did everybody else look like? Even A-Rod was never super bulky. He just looked strong.
No.
Right?
Yep.
So Alex Rodriguez,
look at
1,000%
Hall of Fame.
Should be in the Hall of Fame.
100%.
1,000%.
He's in my Hall of Fame.
He is in my Hall of Fame.
For sure. All right, Francisco Rodriguez.
K-Rod.
Not in my Hall of Fame.
Not in my Hall of Fame either. And here, maybe we'll talk about two guys here, because I want to know if you have this other guy, and he's the other, reliever on this list, and Billy Wagner.
Yes.
Do you put Billy Wagner in the Hall of Fame? Because I do.
I do too.
Okay, well, I'm glad
we have Billy Wagner in the Hall.
Once again.
Exact same ballot. Same ballot.
Because if you look at, no, go ahead.
K-Rod just his career whip is very, very high compared to Billy Wagner's, and some other things. I don't have it pulled up off the top of my head right now. He had a very great career. His ERA was sub-3 for however many years. He had he had a great peak. I mean, I think he still holds the career or the single season saves record with 62. And a couple more seasons with saves, like 45, 47, led the league. but he had a ton of years where he was not like dominant per se, like a 3.71 ERA followed by a couple of seasons with sub 3 and then a 3.16 ERA, a couple other seasons with 4s. And I don't know, man. It's just Billy Wagner had an ERA lower by like half a full run for his entire career. He was just dominant. Sub 1 whip for an entire career. One of the best. I think one of the big differences is that he was also a lefty reliever. And when you look at his ERAs season to season, he has only one season where it was above a 2.8. And he had a very bad year in 2000 with Houston, had an ERA of 6.18. But every other year besides that was sub 3. And that's just ridiculous dominance right there, in my opinion.
Yeah, Billy Wagner. This dude's got to be in the Hall of Fame. Dominance. That's the word. That's the word. Dominance. I just want to look at this one year. Where am I?
His final year, he could have kept pitching. His last year in Atlanta, he was 38 years old, had a 1.43 ERA, a 2.10 FIP, an ERA plus of 2.75. Ridiculous. A career ERA plus of 1.87.
Even this, his bad year, like he had one really bad game where he gave up 4 runs, but he still had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
He pitched a lot less that year.
15 appearances out of how many in total? Like 28, where he didn't allow a run in over half of his appearances that year. So
if you're a reliever and like you have 1 or 2 outings where you give up 5 runs apiece, you cannot recover from that.
But yeah, a 2.31 career ERA, whip under 1. What he's like,
and his FIP is under 3. His career FIP is under 3 too.
6th on the all-time saves, just behind K-Rod.
Basically, struck out 12 per 9 his entire career. ERA plus was 1.87 compared to K-Rod's, which is 1.48. Again, that's a great ERA plus, but Billy Wagner's 1.87. And I think, I would put Francisco in the Hall eventually. I think more relievers should be recognized, especially relievers who are able to sustain 15 years of very, very good performance. I think we're getting there too. I think we got a couple guys in the present day league who will and should end up being on the Hall of Fame. It's important that all players get recognized for their greatness in their own role.
All right. So we have, let me just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys left that we haven't talked about. And I think 2 spots left on our list?
Yes. This is tough too. Like these are going to be some tough ones.
So I think we're both can eliminate James Shields out of this conversation.
Yeah, we can. Yeah. Big game James Shields. How the hell did he ever get that nickname, by the way?
I don't know.
What big game did he ever pitch?
Career ERA of 4. I know wins and losses, whatever, but basically the exact same amount of wins as losses.
That's crazy. He was part of the Fernando Tatis Jr. trade, wasn't he?
He was. That's what he's known for now, I think. I don't think anybody thinks of him for like, he started 34 games for the Royals in 2013. Nobody cares about that. Actually, one crazy stat on here is he pitched 11 complete games in 2011. Is that real?
Wild.
That is insane.
That's crazy. That is a great year too.
I never would have guessed
I should put
that James Shields would have pitched in 11 complete games in his career, let alone in one season. 4 shutouts.
Okay. And so I guess that answers my question.
Only finished 3rd behind Verlander.
That is a great year.
Where's the sign?
I guess that answers the question of what big game did you ever pitch? I guess 11 of them right there. So
what
my
is his
bad.
Career WAR.
Sorry,
James Shields career WAR 30.7. He had 5 WAR in that season. So a 6th of his WAR came from that one season.
That's wild. That's a fantastic year, though.
Yeah. Enjoy that one All-Star season with 11 complete games, but you're not getting in the Hall of Fame. So with 5 names left, Jimmy Rollins, Gary Sheffield, Chase Utley, Omar Vizquel, and David Wright. Which two do you put in? And I'll let you know which two I put in.
Okay.
Because I feel like we might actually differ on at least one of these. We'll see.
Maybe. I'm putting Gary Sheffield in there for sure. And then it was tough, but I'm going with the Liberty Bell guy, Chase Utley.
Ooh, I went with amazing defensive shortstop, Omar Vizquel.
Did you really? Okay.
I did.
Okay. Interesting.
That was a weird one that I was like, I don't know, but I just feel like he was like, shortstop is a crazy position to win. What is it?
Yeah, 11 gold gloves.
11 gold gloves, 9 straight and 11. Is Ozzie Smith in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, yeah.
He's got to be, right?
Yeah, it has to be.
I mean, they're not
absolutely
not the same player, but
definitely not the same caliber of player, but
like kind of reminds me of that a little bit, but just maybe more defense and like, you know, obviously,
yeah,
didn't steal as many bases.
Ozzie Smith light, basically. Ozzie Smith light.
But I put him in. I think also just the longevity of his career. This dude played from 1989 to 2012.
That's crazy, man.
Like to still be playing defense,
4 decades.
winning a Gold Glove at age 39 at shortstop.
That is pretty wild. That's pretty nuts.
Something's got to be said about that.
Yeah, defensive WAR when he was 40 was 2.3.
Yeah, like again, this was wild. A guy who was he was the last person whose name got written down for me. Obviously, the offense was not his strong suit.
Nope, but it's wild that he almost has 3,000 hits with an 82 OPS plus for his career. That's actually kind of a ridiculous.
I mean, 270 batting average is like pretty solid for playing in basically 3,000 games.
That's true. I agree with that. That is pretty wild. I'm glad we disagree on something.
It only took until the very last thing.
Right?
So sorry, David Wright. Sorry, Jimmy Rollins.
David Wright. If he was just a little bit healthier, man. He was just a little bit healthier. I mean, Chase Utley was just one of the best second basemen, had one of the best peaks of a second baseman. I mean, we ever really saw. OPS of 905 straight years. Hit for some good pop. Hit for some very, very good pop. He kind of got a late start, too. His first full healthy season at age 26. And he still compiled 64.5 WAR, my mistake. Counting numbers aren't there, but he still had 1,000 RBI, 1,100 runs, OPS plus career-wise of 117, and slash line was 275, 358, 465 for career OPS of 823. Very good, great player.
He's a great player. I can't argue. I feel Chase Utley, I think unfortunately for me, I think his prime is just like too short and not
I understand
great, not great enough. Like great, but not.
Yeah.
If I'm making a case for him to not get in, that's what it would come down to for me.
Understandable. And it was tough too. Like I think the position wise kind of helped him out a little bit because you don't see many second basemen deliver on that type of.
That's true.
That type of pop, that type of production, especially if you look at his wins above replacement year to year. From 2005, he was from 2005 to 2009. 7.3, 7.3, 7.8, 9.0, and 8.2. So, I mean, for reference, Ronald Acuna Jr., his WAR this year was 8.3.
There you go. Stealing
He
70
very
bases
good on
means
defense as
nothing.
well. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You know, that's just
Sorry, 73?
basically half of
74?
half of
What did he finish with?
at least 4 baseball bases in one season. Yeah, I think it was 41 and 73, I think. Just speaking of which, sidebar, did you see what he's doing in the Venezuelan league right now?
Yeah, he's hitting like 480 with like he's hitting a home run and a triple every game or something I saw. I didn't look closely, but ridiculous. It was.
He's coming for that second MVP, man. I mean, he needs to cool off on the home runs if he wants as many steals, though. Yeah. But can we talk about Gary Sheffield for a second?
Let's talk about Gary Sheffield.
Gary Sheffield played in almost 4 different decades. He's, I think, is he one of the only players with 500 career home runs that is not in the Hall yet? I think he might be.
Well, who else? I mean, besides like other people on this list, like Manny is not.
True. True.
And then like all the PED guys, but
yeah, true. Is there? I wonder if there's anyone else that is not accused of PEDs that has 500 home runs that is not in the Hall. But just like a quick glance at his career line.
Palmeiro, was he a PED guy? I think he was, right? Because he's not.
Big PED guy. Big PED guy.
Yeah, so,
I was never a big fan of him either.
Yeah, pretty much. Besides the PED guys and Pujols, who isn't eligible until what, like next year or the year after?
Yeah. We all know what happens there.
Yeah, there's zero doubt about that. Besides Pujols and Miggy, who same thing's going to happen with him. The other 500 home run hitters who are not in the Hall of Fame are Barry Bonds, A-Rod, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Palmeiro, Manny Ramirez. So Sheffield, yeah, everybody else is in there.
Yeah, and I mean Sheffield's a PED guy too, so I still think he should be in there. 509 career home runs, 1676 RBI, 253 stolen bases, career OPS of 907. Just batting title, 5-time Silver Slugger, played for a ton of different teams. Milwaukee, Florida, Padres, my Braves, the Dodgers, Yankees, Detroit. I don't remember him in Detroit at all.
No, I
don't remember him as a New York Met either.
It doesn't feel like to me like he was still playing in 2009.
Me neither. I thought if he asked me, gun to my head, I would have been like 2005.
Right. Yeah.
And I saw that video of him. I think he was 50 at the time. He was just chiefing on a cigar in the batter's box, just cranking bombs. And I'm like, dude, put him in the Hall for that by itself.
Put him in the Hall, voters. Put him in the Hall.
He never won MVP, but he does. He's had 6 seasons or 5 seasons where he finished with a career or a OPS of over 1,000.
And he finished top 3 in MVP voting 3 times.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and that's a time period where it was just Barry Bonds winning MVPs pretty much. So,
yeah.
Speaking of which, I think Albert Pujols would have 7 MVPs if it wasn't for Barry Bonds.
Is that the conversation we're getting into? How many MVPs people would have if Barry Bonds didn't exist? It wasn't
for Barry Bonds. I think we might have to. He was second in 2002, 2003, 2006, and 2010. So no, he would have 5, I think, if it wasn't for Barry Bonds and someone else, probably. Joey Votto beat him out one year.
Joey Votto won the MVP. I always forget about that.
I get sidetracked. I get sidetracked so much looking at all these stats because it brings up so many just interesting things, you know. And Ryan Howard. Okay. That makes sense. The year Ryan Howard hit 58 bombs. So he would have 5 MVPs if it wasn't for Barry Bonds.
How many does Bonds have? 7?
Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah.
7 MVPs.
It's insane. If you look at Barry Bonds' baseball reference page, is the most insane thing you could ever see.
I know. I made the mistake of pulling it up because now I won't be able to look away for quite some time.
Like, if you add up his hits and walks, the dude was on base almost 6,000 times, or just over like 5,500 times, 5,400, something like that.
You know what's even crazier is he doesn't even have 10,000 at bats registered.
That is crazy.
That's kind of nuts. That's nuts. But he doesn't have a batting average of 300, so you know what? Keep him out of the hall. He has a very low 298 batting average. So
688 intentional walks. 120 in 1 year is so insane. 120.
Has there even been how many intentional walks did he have? Did you just say a 600?
688 in his career. Yeah.
Has there been that many intentional walks in the 2020s?
I doubt
overall.
Who knows?
Yeah, I doubt it too.
But look, he also won 8 Gold Gloves.
Am I reading that right?
Yeah.
How many
even
Silver
in
Sluggers?
San Francisco, he won some Gold Gloves. I don't think people think about his earlier days in San Francisco when he was only hitting 40 home runs, winning Gold Gloves.
That's so pedestrian. That's just absolute pedestrian. He never hit 50 home runs, except for the year he hit 73.
That's crazy. 16 straight. He had 15 out of 16 straight years to finish his career with 1,000 OPS, and the 1 year he didn't, it was 999.
Jeez. He was only 41 at the time too, so I mean, like, he was still young and spry. That's just nuts, dude. That's just nuts. Oh, dude, I can't even.
162 career WAR.
I mean, that's insane. His 162 game average for his entire career, 41 home runs, 108 RBI, 139 walks per season, compared to only 83 strikeouts per season. Only struck out more than 100 times, and that was his rookie year in Pittsburgh, where he struck out 102, and his batting average was 223.
Insane.
That's crazy, dude.
Off the top of your head, if you had to give me like 5 current players who are surefire Hall of Famers, just give me 5, your top 5, or the first 5 you can think of.
Miguel Cabrera is not going to count. I don't count him.
No, people who are still going to be playing in 2024. Because Miggy will make it.
Okay.
But not.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Trout, Kershaw, or actually, we don't even know if Kershaw is going to be playing.
Kershaw, I'll still.
Yeah. Verlander, Scherzer, and I said Trout, right? Trout, Shohei, Verlander, Scherzer, and Kershaw. Those are 5 like easy ones. I feel like I feel like we should maybe we could do that. We can maybe have an episode where we're like guys who have not even hit the free agent market yet, who's going to make the Hall of Fame.
Oof. Or
guys like 26 or something like that.
Under 33 Hall of Fame. That's like, or under 30 maybe you could do. Because I think do you think Bryce Harper's a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's going to end up being a Hall of Famer for sure. Yeah, absolutely. If his career stopped today, I don't think he would be. If his career ended today. Or actually, I don't know. That's a tough question.
I don't know. Rookie of the year and 2 MVPs, and he's only 31?
Yeah.
Like, he's younger than Aaron Judge.
That's kind of wild.
That is wild. That's my favorite baseball stat of right now, is that Bryce Harper is younger than Aaron Judge, and he's been in the
That is
league
pretty
for
nuts.
11 years.
Yeah, that's nuts. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I do think Bryce Harper's a Hall of Famer if his career ends today.
Fun
912 OPS.
Fun fact: I just realized Josh Donaldson. I mean, he's 6 or 7 years older, but has more career WAR than Bryce Harper. I wouldn't have thought so. Like Donaldson had some crazy years, but
Interesting. He did have some really good years. I feel like people forget about the year he had in Atlanta too.
36
bombs.
bombs.
900 OPS. Yeah, 37. But man, it is just like he has had just the definition of up and down years. Plus, he got a really late start.
Yeah.
As far as career goes, he didn't have a full season until he was 27. So it's like, dude, how you have to start young if you want to make the Hall. A little bit younger, or you have to just go ham.
I didn't realize how much
longer
career WAR Mookie has accumulated already.
He's got what, like
64? And
he would have been a good answer. He's definitely in the Hall.
He's not that old.
No. Ooh, oh man, I'm gonna ask a spicy question right now.
Spice me up, bro.
Very, very spicy question. Who ends up with more wins above replacement, Mookie Betts or Mike Trout?
Man, spice me up.
That's one spicy meatball.
Let's see. Mike Trout is 32. Mookie Betts is 31. Is that what I'm reading?
Yes, that is correct.
August.
He's about 20 WAR behind, but he has been healthy every year.
Yeah, but you never know. Like Mike Trout can come back and have 5 healthy years. I think Trout.
That's true.
I think Trout.
I like that. I want that to be the answer.
I think Trout's going to have a resurgence.
I hope so, man. I think Mookie's going to end up with more WAR. It seems like he's getting better with age.
He is really good. I mean,
he's very good.
He's so good. I was making that Dodgers 2023 Dodgers home run compilation video, and man, he just hits a lot of home runs. So he's a small guy, just does everything, plays everywhere.
Does, man. I don't get it. You know, I wouldn't be saying the same thing. Like after the 2021 season, I was thinking, wow, I don't think Mookie Betts is going to be elite or great for much longer. And boy, was I wrong.
You're wrong.
I was very, very wrong. It's crazy. He's been so good. He's definitely a Hall of Famer. I think Freeman's a Hall of Famer.
I think Trout still will finish though. I think Trout's going to come back and he'll have.
I really hope so. I hope so much. Like, dude, Freddie Freeman's going to be a Hall of Famer too. I just hope he goes in with a Braves hat.
I mean, I think he would, but I guess it all depends like how the rest of his career goes.
Yeah, I agree.
So if he plays another 5-6 years, maybe.
Yeah, he's got 4 more on his deal.
4 more on his deal.
Yeah.
So let's say he finishes that out.
So
maybe the Dodgers get over the hump one of these years.
Yeah, maybe if they go win the World Series, like 2 out of the next 4 years or something, which I mean they're absolutely capable of. Maybe he goes in as a Dodger. I don't want him to, but.
So if we talk about Freddie Freeman and his MVP year, I'm just going to segue into this. Where do you stand on the 2020 season in general, as far as Mickey Mouse year, this and that, and the third? What is your personal stance on this?
I don't think it's a Mickey Mouse year whatsoever. If anything, you have to overcome, like, you have to adjust even more, in my opinion. So I think it's as legitimate as a year as any other year, 100%.
We don't like disagreeing on things because I feel the same way. Anytime I hear people talk about the Dodgers ring is a Mickey Mouse ring, I'm like, my whole thing is like
I don't get it, man.
everybody plays the same season. So like,
Yeah,
you know, a 60 game season is way more volatile and you can go get hotter and it doesn't maybe balance out as long as 162 games. But that's why they expanded the playoffs that year. Like how many teams were in the playoffs? It was like, was it only 12 or was it more? I can't even remember. But it felt like everybody was in the playoffs. No home field advantage
either.
And I mean, they came back from down 3-1 against the Braves. Like, it's not like the Dodgers steamrolled everybody. I mean, they only lost 17 games, I think, in the regular season, but I don't know. And people are like, oh, it's a Mickey Mouse season. Like, none of that shit. And I'm like, get over yourselves, people.
Get it for maybe when it comes to awards, like personal player performance, I get that. Because
so you think Freddie Freeman doesn't deserve his MVP?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. That's not what I'm saying. I definitely think he deserves it. But I just think it's more likely that a player has a 2-month hot spell rather than an entire team fluking their way to a World Series win, if that makes any sense.
Who was the AL MVP that year?
That was... And it's funny because you look at these awards and you're just like, any of those guys could win the same award.
Jose Abreu.
That's right. He had a hell of a good year. Juan Soto had a ridiculous year that year.
Marcelo Ozuna led the league in home runs, eh?
Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. See, I think that's more of what I mean, even though he hit 40 this year. So, I mean,
the Luke Voit 22 home run mini season. I forgot about that.
That's more what I'm talking about. Guys who have just never done it before and afterwards. Yeah. Like, I think it's more likely. And Shane Bieber had a great season, but who did he pitch? I mean, you only have 11 starts. What if are they still doing the matchup with the AL Central? Most likely, like a lot of interdivisional play.
Did they in 2020? We can look at it.
I don't remember.
It's pitching game logs in 2020. Shane Bieber. Royals, Twins, Reds, White Sox, Tigers. He only played Central teams, AL or NL.
That was a very weak division.
Yeah, like he lost to.
I love Shane Bieber.
He lost to Kansas City and the Twins, or they lost or whatever. But yeah,
I see. Yeah.
So it's
still an amazing year, and you still have to pitch against those teams. They're still professional ball clubs.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting thing to think about, to talk about, because there's so many different ways you can look at it, like so many different factors.
I just think they did what they had to do to kind of make it like as competitive and open to everyone I think as possible. Like the playoffs were 16 teams. So over half the league made the playoffs, which gives, I think, more. I almost think it makes it harder because it's baseball and like somebody could go on a streak. Like Tampa Bay.
Facts.
I mean, they did have the best AL record, but they kind of just like kept overcoming and making it to the World Series that year. Looked like Randy was gonna take them all the way, and then Blake Snell got pulled, and the rest is history.
That's so wild, man. And that's such a good point. I mean, it's so fluky, or it's so random sometimes when it comes to baseball. Like they did have to play more teams, and you're right. You have to do what you got to do, and it's not like I can talk about all day how Shane Bieber, he had a great season, but he did pitch against the AL Central, which is a weak division in general. But it's not like he can choose. He still went out there and shoved a sub-2 ERA. That's an insane year, and he deserves his Cy Young. Absolutely. There's just, you got to do what you got to do. That's a fantastic point, and he did.
He did.
He did. Man, this has been a good, solid podcast, dude.
Hell yeah.
A lot of meat in this one. A lot of meat.
And Shane Bieber went into the playoffs against the Yankees and gave up 7 runs in 4 2/3. Bye.
That's not gonna be good for the morale.
God, the Yankees just destroyed them. 12-3, 10-9 are the scores in those 2 games.
That is wild. That's very, very wild.
Ooh, 10-9 I was like scoring 2 runs in the ninth.
I was all aboard the Luke Voigt bandwagon after that 2020 season too. I invested in him and MLB The Show. Like, he went diamond. I was like, let me get my stubs. And then the year afterwards, not quite there.
Not quite, and I don't think he ever will again.
I don't either. I do not either. I don't even. Is he signed to anyone?
I don't know. I played 22 games for the Brewers this year. Hit 0 home runs.
That's not good for a power hitter. OPS plus of 53.
Nope.
Did not know he was drafted by the Royals. Like, he can still turn it around. Maybe.
I hope he does. You don't get too many shots. Once it's going to be turning 33 soon.
Yep. Yeah. Before the season starts.
So,
man.
He does have a career OPS plus of 121 though, from having that crazy couple year stretch with the Yankees.
Dang, that is pretty wild. He did have a really good season in St. Louis and New York, or I guess New York mostly. 2018, 14 home runs and 132 at bats. That's a pretty solid.
Yeah,
pretty solid handful of games.
Not bad. And then it all fell apart.
That is a shame. The league figured him out, I guess.
That's life.
Life comes at you fast. If you don't stop around and look, around, you could miss it. I think I butchered that quote.
All I want is to just refresh Twitter and just have news about where Ohtani's going, whether it's the Jays or not, just so either I can be so happy or so unbelievably disappointed.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Like, what's happening?
Oh, it's going to happen soon. It's going to happen.
You think so?
I do.
You better hope the Jays don't leak it.
Oh, they won't.
Because Ohtani's going to be very upset about that if he does. If they do.
They won't. I think it'll be fine. He's coming. He's coming to Canada. Come north of the border. I see so many tweets about people being like, "Oh, going to Canada would be the worst. That market sucks, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, I don't think people understand. Like,
that's an entire country.
It's the entire country. Rogers Communications, which owns the Blue Jays, is like potentially like the richest owner in baseball. Like, I don't think people also realize like actually how much money it's annoying because we have to kind of offer very competitive, if not more, because of like exchange rates and dumb things like that. Because I don't know if they actually get paid in Canadian dollars or American dollars, but there's things like that factor into it.
I see.
But like, we can afford it. The Jays can make any offer.
Yeah.
I don't think if he chooses the Dodgers or the Cubs or whatever, it's not going to be because the Blue Jays didn't match whatever offer he got, or at least we're maybe even exceeded it. I think he'll get offered the most money by Toronto, whether he takes it or not.
I think, I don't know. I mean, I don't think his driving factor is money. I know he wants to win, but how much like money, how much is like a $450 million deal going to, how much is it? Or I don't know I'm trying to word this in a way. How much different would a $500 million deal be compared to like a $450 million deal? Like, would he choose the 450? Like, Would he choose 450 to a lesser winning, or would he choose the 500 to a lesser winning team, or the 450 to a team with a brighter future on paper?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to make like a crazy difference. The money necessarily, obviously it's going to be a lot of money. But he's also Ohtani. This dude is just going to make so much more money off of everything else that he does that, like, I'm sure he's going to be, worth $1 billion soon.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Yeah. He's a special talent. I watched Baseball Doesn't Exist video on Ohtani and how profitable he was. And apparently he made like 70 mil in endorsements. And the next highest was Aaron Judge. And Aaron Judge made like 4.5 mil. So it's crazy. He's going to make more money from other things that are not his baseball contract. And that's just insane to me.
Considering
he's going to be a skin in Fortnite. He's going to be a skin in Fortnite.
Considering he's going to have the biggest contract in baseball history too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy, man. He's just, man, that dude is the most talented person in the history of the world, pretty much.
In the history of the world. He's up there.
In the history of the world.
The history of the world.
You heard it here first.
Come to Toronto. Come to Canada. Yeah. We will welcome you.
Actually, I'm sure you can get free steaks in the Chop House, Shohei, if you come to Atlanta. So,
Double A is never shelling out $500 million to Shohei. He should.
He won't.
I mean, he might.
He should. Yeah, he should. I mean, could this be the first? I mean, he's got to go outside the comfort zone. You step outside of your comfort zone, that's where real growth happens. I should text that to AA right now.
Do it.
Just a little winky face, and I'll send him a voice message and just be like, "Oh, Shohei."
Done.
I think he'll get the message. Yeah.
Oh. All right, everyone.
Man. Should we wrap it up there?
I think that about wraps it up for today.
Yeah, this is a solid sesh. Thanks for listening, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow whatever platform you're listening on, whether it be Apple, Spotify, or something else. There's a lot of them out there.
They're out there. They're out there. We're out there. Give us a follow. Download. Listen to us while you're driving around, or commuting, or just trying to fall asleep, or soothing voices. Whatever gets you through the day. All right, everybody. Have a great one. Noob. Right. Pleasure as always.
Later. Peace. Always a pleasure, homie. Later.